If you're going to make $50, $60 million a year to play basketball 3 or 4 days a week, play basketball, man.
This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living, okay? I understand if you're working in a coal mine that you may need a rest day.
Everybody hurts after the first 2 weeks of the season. Your legs sore, your knees sore.
It's fun to play. I never got tired in a game. How can you get tired in a game? You're playing basketball.
Y'all got the best shoes. You got the best medical staff. You got these guys sleeping in chambers. You got ice baths. Man, if you can play, shut the hell up and play.
Thank you very much. And your rebuttal, Mr. Carville.
We have no response. But that was perfect.
When it comes to current-day NBA superstars, just current-day NBA stars in general, a lot of these players increasingly don't uphold the standards of past eras like the 90s, 2000s, even the early 2010s. When I say uphold the standards, what do I mean? First off, winning the ultimate goal. Below that, as a leader, there is no excuses. And below that, you don't point the finger at other teammates, do the blame game, and point at everyone but yourself. Those are kind of the three main pillars of the old school NBA, the pillars of past eras. But of course, looking at the modern NBA, a lot of those same values and standards have simply not been upheld. And when speaking about things not being upheld, one of my biggest pet peeves is superstar players not playing all the games and ducking certain matchups. Case in point with someone like Joel Embiid.
But Tim, you talked to Embiid, and he told you that, quote, he would probably never play back-to-backs the rest of his career.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
So looking at Joel Embiid once again, this guy wanting more rest, more days off, I mean, it is what it is. And the story ended right there, I wouldn't be that mad at Joel Embiid. He's injury prone, gets banged up very easily, and honestly is kind of a soft player. If the story ended right there, I'd be fine with it. But unfortunately, the story does not end right there. Joel Embiid, despite ducking certain players not playing back-to-backs, still wants all the credit of superstar players who play all the games and win championships. In essence, Joel Embiid wants full credit and more for doing 80% of the job.
You think you would be in the greatest player of all time conversation without the injury problems?
I think so.
Comments like those make you wonder, do NBA stars in their inner circle just have yes men who kiss their butt and tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear? Comments like that, it makes you think that. And even looking at lower tier players, someone like Andre Drummond, he'll make claims just out of nowhere that he's one of the greatest rebounders of all time, if not the greatest. That is Andre Drummond, a low tier all-star in the playoffs, never had a meaningful second of basketball. If Andre Drummond saying that has that inflated of an ego, the superstar players, the megastars, who are actually good players, their egos must be through the roof.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
And kind of building off that for 1 second, when talking about the GOAT being an all-time great player, a legend, the best at your position, a lot of these players in the current era, they want that praise desperately. But what they don't want is the backlash when they don't live up to expectations. Of course, Joel Embiid being a prime example, as in Joel's career, not once had he made the conference finals, and numerous times has choked in the first round, second round, been out of shape, not healthy, and just inept in big games. And despite all the failures, all the choke jobs, the numerous years coming up short, Joel still time and time again will point the finger at his teammates, the front office, and lack of continuity.
And to win championships, you need other guys, you need help. You can't do it by yourself. It's just impossible. You can't win alone. I can't win alone. Me and James, we just can't win alone. If you want to win, the thing that I always talked about is, stability, continuity.
Well, maybe you're just making excuses.
So stopping Joel right there, as you saw, saying it's not his fault, him and Harden need more teammate help, and lack continuity just kind of doomed their season. That right there from Joel Embiid is classic excuse making of the modern day stars. And for Embiid, he's held in high regard as one of the best players in the league, an MVP player. But at the same time, doesn't get the criticism and the critique of guys like Giannis and Jokic pre their championship runs. As those guys pre their titles, they were eviscerated in the media 24/7. Giannis was told he has no bag, can't shoot, isn't clutch, will never win. For the Joker, he's overweight, can't play defense, and the playoffs is a choker whose team always fails.
Shoot it, fat boy!
Somehow for Joel Embiid, he just kind of evades all criticism. It's excuses from the media as well as fans. Well, you know, he was hurt, undermanned. Yes, he had some all-stars, but it's not his fault. Year after year, Joel Embiid has helped a good supporting cast and fails in the postseason. And the last 2 years, Embiid in the regular season puts up gaudy stats that will make any player blush. But of course, when it comes to playoffs, those stats take a big-time dip, and his overall health was a big question mark that's always up in the air. And looking at Joel's own words, he says this year in 2024 is the first year ever he's not focused on individual accolades or MVPs. At this point, all he wants is a championship. Now, of course, those comments in a vacuum, I'm fine with that. But it makes you wonder, so before this year, you're going for individual accolades, stats, MVPs, not actually winning championships. Is that what we're saying? Embiid all of a sudden had an epiphany, the switch flipped that, oh, actually winning championships matters, not MVPs. If that's actually the case, I'm sorry, Joel, you're a tad bit late to the party.
The books are closed.
And one thing I do want to highlight very quickly, a lot of the me-first superstars, they're kind of fading, they're retiring, getting older, and exiting their prime. And the next era of players, guys like Tatum, Edwards, SGA, Luka, and especially Wembanyama, those guys, they're wired to win first and put stats on the back burner. And looking at someone like Victor specifically, he's kind of the anti-Joel Embiid. He's almost too dedicated to his health, to basketball, and focused solely on the game.
Truly like the best of the game are. How, in a good way, some of them are really like impressive and like inspiring in the way they approach the game every night. But others that I used to like and now I'm just like, nah, I'm not sure that they deserve, like they don't seem like they put as much work as I thought.
Now, of course, Victor's not going to name names, but I'm just kind of thinking, put the pieces together. Victor's a center, he's French. Embiid, also 7-footer, has the French connection, same position. Joel kind of been overweight for the longest time, out of shape, and not well conditioned. I mean, Victor right there, without saying it, kind of describes Embiid to a T. As even now in 2024, Embiid's saying that, you know, I'm 30, 40 pounds too heavy, I should lose weight, get slimmer for the postseason. How are you pushing 30 and that mindset has just clicked all of a sudden? What it tells me and a lot of NBA fans is that winning wasn't always the #1 goal. And looking at someone like Victor, those question marks, I have none for Victor. Yes, right now his team isn't very good, but Victor the individual player, his mindset, his attitude, everything is about winning and reaching that goal. A lot of the players who embody Embiid's mindset of individual stats first, MVPs first, those guys are kind of dying out and fading away. People like Wembanyama, Tatum, Luka, those guys come to the forefront of the next era of NBA stars. And one last point I will make. Looking at Embiid's teammates over the years, Ben Simmons, a mental midget, James Harden, playoff choker, and then Paul George, one of the most delusional entitled stars we've ever seen. All those players, Simmons, George, and Harden, kind of embody the worst aspects and traits of Joel Embiid himself. As of course, looking at Embiid, a massive playoff choker, his mindset is questionable, and like Paul George, is downright delusional, calling himself the could-be GOAT. So that right there is the end of the video, and like a lot of NBA stars today, Joel Embiid wants to do 70% of the work and get all the credit. Doesn't want to play all the games, all back-to-backs, but at the same time, wants the accolades, the praise, adulation of someone who actually does that. And of course, with NBA stars, it is never their fault for losing, coming up short, or not reaching expectations. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.